Hey guys, Steve Patrick here. It seems that a number of people don't believe that what John Hotelling is referring to, the badger traps, exist. Some of these traps are very dangerous, particularly the one that is accusing contractors of insurance fraud. Why? Because they're using Xactimate to price their estimates. So what's happening is, if you'll take a look at the example that I've attached to this post, let's say that you use Xactimate to price a roof and some other collateral damage. The roof, after using Xactimate to price everything, comes to $10,000, and then with the collateral damage, it comes to $14,000. You add in your contractor's 10 and 10, and you end up with $16,800. All right, so you send that in. The carrier agrees to your 10 and 10 and the 16.8 number. So you go ahead and schedule the work. The work's completed. You send over the insured's final invoice to the insurance company for final payment, and they demand to see your subcontractor's invoices, and you refuse. So at that point, they say that they believe that you've committed insurance fraud, and they're going to withhold the recoverable depreciation until you send over your sub-invoices. Then they say they're going to call the insured and tell them, the insured, that the insurance company suspects you of insurance fraud, and ask the insured, are you involved in the fraud also? You want to see someone kicked to the curb fast. Your clients are going to kick you to the curb fast when they're being asked by the insurance company, are you involved in the insurance fraud as well? So all of a sudden you send over your sub invoices, and sure enough, because you negotiated a discount with your roofing sub, instead of paying them $10,000, you paid them $8,500. And likewise with the rest of all your subs, you paid them less than what Xactimate said. So that comes to $11,100. Not $14,000. If you take a look at the attachment that I included with this post down below, and then instead of charging 10 and 10, you're actually charging 28.5 and 28.5 to still arrive at the exact same number that was on your Xactimate estimate, $16,800. Now the insurance company is accusing you of insurance fraud because they're saying that you inflated your subcontractor numbers. That's not what you really paid them, so that you could actually charge 28.5 and 28.5 when you say that you're charging 10 and 10. Do you see how nefarious this is? They know full well that you're using Xactimate just to arrive at that number, 16,800. They know that. They want to shut you up. 1% of all insureds across the nation hire a lawyer. Somewhere around 3 to 4% hire a PA. That leaves 95% of all claimants on property insurance unrepresented. And the only person standing between you and the insurance company and them paying whatever they want is you. And if they can shut you up, then they will. How dastardly is this? My goodness gracious. Accusing you guys of insurance fraud. So here's what you need to do. Step number 1, stop using Xactimate pricing. So what you're going to want to do is, I think you should still use Xactimate to create your spec sheet. That's what contractors have called your scope report for 100 years. They call it a specification sheet, and that's what you ought to call it also. If you want to use Xactimate to create your spec sheet, I think that's smart, because the adjusters, they read Xactimate. That's the language they speak. Do not include any prices from Xactimate on your spec sheet. Then what you want to do is create a separate sheet, and I want you to call it lump sum total. And the lump sum total is your price for the work you're going to be performing. One line, lump sum total, $16,800. Some states require you to separate out sales tax. If you're in one of those states, you need to investigate this and determine, then what you're going to want to do is say pre-tax lump sum plus sales tax equals lump sum total. In this case, there will be 3 line items. You do not have a separate line item reflecting your overhead and profit. You do not have a separate line item between roofing and gutter and fence stain and windows and all your subs. 3 line items. Pre-tax lump sum plus sales tax equals lump sum total. And that's it. In addition to that, there's going to be a disclosure that John Hotelling is going to be posting on the forum shortly. You need to include that disclosure on every single estimate that you send in. It needs to be on the lump sum price sheet, not on the spec sheet. And you need to also, the second disclosure that John is going to be sharing with us is something that you need to include in every single correspondence you make with the insurance company, whether it be by email or by snail mail or however you correspond with a claims adjuster. You need to include this other disclosure in every single correspondence. And if you'll do those 3 things, separate specification sheet, separate lump sum price, and include those 2 disclosures, then you'll be safe. We'll be talking more about this in the not too distant future. All right. Thanks, guys, for your time. Bye.